The interview assignment is the second trend I was going to point out, which is huge, where I didn't think I even got homework when I was interviewing in 2014. By the time I was interviewing in 2023 time, it's almost like every single job has either a presentation you have to give to executives, or a presentation on a prior feature, or a homework assignment in terms of like a document you have to write. That has really grown a lot.
Yeah, I'd say, there's a couple reasons for that. We obviously talked about ChatGPT, but the first reason that comes to mind is just it's a weeding out process. These hiring managers, they're looking for people who are just serious about the job, and those who just won't take a few hours to do some research, collect their thoughts about what they would do on day one or day 30. They don't want those folks. The second thing, a little bit of a kind of a laziness tactic. It's a way for them to be able to assess candidates without spending 15, 30 minutes, an hour of their time getting on synchronously in an interview call. And the last little tidbit that I still have mixed feelings about these interview assignments. I think while the hiring managers have some pretty good reasons for doing it to suss out whether or not the candidate is really passionate about the job, I've seen on the other side, especially with tools like ChatGPT, a lot of candidates are just coming up with perfect interview assignments. And I think there's a little bit of a letdown when these hiring managers meet these candidates in person. It's like, wait, the person who wrote this beautiful case study as part of their Uber Jam, you don't seem like the same person. And I'm like, no, duh, look at that Uber Jam. I mean, geez, that output is like top 1% output. There is no way that candidate was able to produce that without the help of AI.
That's really interesting. I also found that the homeworks have questionable value because sometimes the candidates you want the most, they're already in pretty high pressure, busy jobs. They may not even be sort of looking, but you got them into your process, versus the candidates who they don't have a job right now. They can put in 55 hours into the homework assignment. Often they can look a little bit better.
Yeah, there's definitely a little bit of asymmetry. So those who have jobs definitely at a disadvantage because they have less hours in the week. Same thing with candidates who have families. Very, very hard to finish up your workday and then spend the next 3 to 4 hours of your evening working on an interview assignment if you've got little kids to worry about. And so definitely a lot of mixed feelings about the interview assignments. But despite those concerns, I think in this economy, a lot of hiring managers are getting pressure from their CEOs and saying, hey, we got to find the best of the best. And everyone's equating that with like, gosh, we've got to ratchet up our assessment standards. And that to them, it means a green light for interview assignments and a green light for case questions.
So this topic of interview assignments, as a candidate, how do you excel at the interview assignment, especially if you do have jobs and a kid?
Yeah. Well, I guess first and foremost, it's 2025. Everybody's using AI. And so that would be the first step is like, try not to make things harder for yourself. If every other candidate's using AI, why would you not use AI yourself? And so that's tip number one. Tip number two, just saying that you use AI is like me saying I play the guitar, and because you and I both have the same guitar, can come up with the same type of music. Not quite right. The person that's playing the guitar absolutely makes a difference, right? The amount of knowledge, experience, practice, they're able to just conjure different things out of the guitar than a different person can. And so long story short, how you prompt these LLM systems is absolutely key. There's so much to be said about prompting LLMs, and so I won't rehash it. But the best tip that I can think of is when it comes to working with these LLMs, like give them a very specific framework to work with. Maybe if it's a product interview assignment or product strategy interview assignment, you might want to use circles and say, hey, ChatGPT, frame your response in terms of circles, or in line with the third step of circles, I want you to really focus on the pain points using Lewis's GER method. And so with that kind of more specific prompting, you'll be able to get less generic answers.
I think that is the key, is really figuring out how you're prompting it. But also, in my opinion, for these interview assignments, the best way to go is to do the first 20% of the work yourself, apply your human brain, your human context, use the AI to get you from 20 to 80%, and then apply your own final touches to like remove the AI from it as you go from 80 to 100%.
Yeah, I love that. Absolutely. I mean, that's really the kind of the idea of AI being your co-pilot. Like you're the pilot, you're the one who's driving the ship, and then that AI just sitting there kind of assisting you with maybe perhaps research, maybe with some additional brainstorming or the final touches as you try to polish it up.
So you've said there's a growing problem of misinformation in PM interview prep. Why?
There are just so many things out in the internet these days that's just contributing to the noise, AI and ChatGPT. And so that's kind of like noise number one. You ask a question to ChatGPT and it'll give you a very confident answer. And especially for candidates who don't have a lot of experience in product management, they can't tell if that is a top 1% answer, a top 20% answer, or maybe something that's closer to the median. The second thing is Reddit. I don't know if you consume social media as much as I do, but I read a lot of information on Reddit, and there's just so much noise to sift through. It's really easy to get distracted by all of the varying opinions from all walks of life. And we're not just talking about humans. I was talking to somebody the other day, and he's like, yeah, Lewis, I've actually created